GM. GM. Monday, 18th of March. Daily levels. Let's go. So, Sol has had a huge weekly close against BTC. You can see here, highest weekly close of the year. Trending up just in an absolutely beautiful fashion. And even better, Sol ETH is at all-time highs. GM to Sol ETH. So, we were talking about this when it was down here. It's going to reverse and rip higher. Let's go, fucking Sol. So, it's a bit weird because Sol itself is the strongest in the market by far. It is carrying the market to a large extent. And it keeps grinding higher. We hit 204, which is the first area I was looking at for a potential pullback. You see here. Touch 204, closed just below it. We've pushed above it again at the start of the week. 225 is the level I have my eye on for. That's roughly 100 billion market cap. I think that is going to be a more relevant level than 204 in terms of where Sol might slow down. But it looks good. Looks good. I think some of this gap can get filled in, right? But there is a big gap on last week's candle on Sol, which I don't think gets fully filled, right? That looks to me like a breakaway gap that's going to see it go to all-time high. Now, if it does, go straight to all-time high, well, yeah, we can come back, fill that in after, for sure. But if it doesn't, I'd expect consolidation that doesn't quite fill it, and then just a breakout. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Some kind of upwards sloping accumulation towards the all-time high. If it comes all the way back to 153, I think that's just game over. I don't see why it would fully retrace that weekly breakout candle. I mean, it can. It did that before with this breakout, fully retraced that. But the market doesn't just repeat itself over and over right away. So I would be surprised if Sol doesn't just go to all-time high from here, or very, very close. Like I said, maybe 225 can produce resistance when it hits 100 billion, but who knows? Talked in trading analysis this morning about the trend of influencers on Twitter posting random wallet addresses. People are sending Sol to them. So if you can see it, I don't know if I'll be able to find it that quickly, but there's a bunch of them. Maybe I could say, who did one? Anyway, fucking not going to find it by just scrolling through Twitter randomly. But there's a couple of things about it. There was one where some guy who's apparently like an influencer on the Solana ecosystem he started off the trend, just put up a wallet address, and people sent 10 million overnight to some new project pre-sale. But apparently that guy is legit. So that's fine. Stupider things have happened. But then other people just started to shill links and fucking pre-sale for this project dropping soon, and the exact same tweet, right? Send Sol to this address, a random contract address, or a random wallet address, and people were just sending fucking aping Sol across. One of them as much as 30 million, and then a few other sentiment gauges, because one of the things I saw was maybe that's not 30 million or 10 million because it might just be money laundering. And what that means is there was another influencer, the guy there who I was looking at, the pigeon guy, and he put one up and only got $150 something there. So he put one up as a joke, right? You will receive nothing back. But people didn't send much across, right? They only sent across a few $100s. And so does that then mean that the other ones are fake, right? Because this is the other thing. There's a few things it can be. It doesn't have to just be. I could say it could be project marketing too. So what I mean by that is this is now all the talk on Twitter. And people are saying, oh, everyone's sending money to these random addresses for these projects. So that gets the guy's tweet loads of hype. That gets the project that he's potentially launching loads of hype. And was it actually a bunch of degens sending 10 million to an address? Or was it one guy and his team sending a bunch of sol to this address, knowing that the wallet address is public and the people would share it and say, holy shit, they've sent 10 million to this guy's address already. We're so back. Fucking retail's here, up only, craziness, retard mode. And it's just good marketing for his project. So it could be that. And it could also be money laundering. Because if you're, I don't know, if someone's trying to money launder or like avoid tax, what they would do is they would send money, they would create this address and pretend that it's not them, but it's actually them. And then they would launch it, and then they would send money to it on their other accounts, whatever. And then they would be able to say, if it ever came time for taxes, no, I don't have that money. I sent it to this project and it was a rug. Which, by the way, is not fucking even. Like, I don't even think that would get you out of taxes or anything, depending on where you live, I guess. It's fully retarded. I don't actually think that would even work. Or, just in general, you know, some form of money laundering, some form of promotion of a project. I'm saying these things because I'm trying to give an example of what might be potentially like not a sign of froth. But then the main thing and the simplest example, which is probably the right, Occam's razor, people are fucking retards who have too much money and they feel rich from Solana going up and the market's been gone up for 6 months and they're aping their money over to random addresses, hoping that it's like a lottery ticket and they get some airdrop tokens. And if that's the case, it's usually a top signal. But I remember this first in February 2021. This is the first time I remember seeing this kind of sentiment. Not this exact thing. It wasn't people sending random money to random addresses, but this level of irrational behavior. And it was February 2021. And obviously, you know that the market didn't crash until May, and then the bull market didn't end until November. But of course, the market learns cycle to cycle. So does that mean that, oh, now there's 3 months before we crash? No, could crash tomorrow. I don't think it will. I think this is just a sign that if you're asking like when are dumb money back, they're fucking back. The other thing about this, which is even more of a sign of dumb people back, again, you can't really talk about retail. I know we talk about retail, but we're all retail. Retail is a dumb word. Because most people who were around in 2021 are still around, but they've learned a bit, right? Even the dumbest of dumb people in 2021 who bought the top, now they're coming in, they're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't like ape all my net worth into these things. They're a bit hesitant. So you can't use it as a gauge of retail. You can't really go on Twitter and be like, oh my God, look at all these people commenting under this post. But yeah, but crypto's big, right? Everyone learned about crypto last cycle. So that's not a good indicator by itself. But what is stuff like this. It's too far back on his page, but on Ansem's page, who's a big like Sol influencer, Solana influencer, somebody underneath one of his posts, right? He done a post, and somebody underneath created a scam account, like you see all the time. You know the scam replies. So it's the same profile pic. It is nearly the same handle, and they said, launching my new project, send Solana to this. Just like the most basic thing that you all know, you never fucking click or interact or send money to a reply guy on Twitter who's pretending to be the main poster. I mean, it's the most basic thing. If you fall for that, you are dumb money. Guess what? In 24 hours, $2.6 million was sent to it. 2.6 million. That is a sign of fucking dumb money are here. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I can do when I see that is think, shit. Like, there's no other reaction. No other way to think about it. There's fucking no planet on which those people make money. Now, the good thing is, they've lost their money by being fucking retards. So hopefully, that's the way they lose. But it's not about how much money gets sent or where it gets sent or all this kind of stuff, really. It's about the fact that it's being done. It shows a lack of responsibility. And 6 months ago, they wouldn't have done it. And this is how euphoria sets in. It hits different people at different times, right? And they get complacent. If you tried to do that, run that scam after FTX collapse in November 2022 or December 22, nobody would have sent $1 because they either didn't have $1 to send, or they'd just been fucking rogued, or they were in fear of next thing going wrong. They were, I'm not sending any money. Fuck crypto, or I'm keeping all my money and I'm stacking it. Fuck you. The fact that now people are just aping millions of dollars across without thinking about it is a sign of this irresponsibility. So, again, it's not a top signal because this retarded shit. Sorry, it is a top signal, but don't confuse a top signal for the top's in, we have to go down now. This kind of shit can go on much longer than any of us imagine. The point I'm making is I have to note that in my journal for myself. I have to make a mental note of it, and I feel like I have to tell you guys of it, obviously, because that's my job. Because if we look back in 3 or 4 weeks and everything's gone down and we've had a local top, I'll be like, yeah, that was obvious, right? It doesn't mean you have to turn around and start shorting, because Sol looks great. Sol ETH looks really strong. Sol BTC is really strong. Bitcoin itself is going into probably some kind of a distribution top or just a correction sideways or whatever. But I would never short Bitcoin here, right? Because even if it's bearish, it's probably going to push up into a lower high first. Because when you just this setup, three days selling off, no follow through in the last one, reversal, closing back up with the bands. It's like anyone shorting here, they're going to get squeezed at least once, if not twice, and then maybe it goes down then. So you can't just overreact and start making stupid decisions based on what is essentially fear. But you also have to have your eyes open. And this is a key point I want to make. From last cycle and even mini rallies we've had, like in between, right? So 2019 and 2023. So not like the top of a bull market, but the 2019 rally and the 2023 kind of echo bubble, they called it. There are top signals, and then price goes up more, and then it tops, right? So in 2021, like I said, the real top signals started firing in February. Everything crashed in May. Then we had the second rally. The real top signals started firing in kind of October. We topped in November for some coins, December for others, and Luna went until fucking like March. And this is the other thing too. Like if you weren't around, Luna topped in late March, April. The rest of the market was done in November, right? Bitcoin was done, Ethereum was done, the whole market was pretty much done. NFT mania was done. It was all done in November. Luna then crashed and rallied again. And guess what? Just because of that, just because there was a coin making new all-time highs, people are like, oh, if bull market's not over, look at Luna. Bull market can't be over because look at Luna. So the whole this time is different will always come in. And the biggest thing to remember is when you have your top signals, it doesn't mean that everything crashes and goes to zero right away. Right? The market's not that simple. Just think about it. How could the market be that easy? It's not. So the way it's going to go is you'll have these signs of what looks or feels like it should be a top, and it won't be the top. And that's how complacency sets in. Because you see the top signal of people sending loads of money to random addresses, right? You're like, oh, that's top signal. I'm going to short. And then you short and you get stopped out. You're like, oh, well, I guess it wasn't a top signal. or I guess it's going to go down again now, but I'm not going to short it. And then you go on 2 or 3 days, prices go higher. Next week they go higher. Week after they drop back, then they go higher a bit. 2 or 3 weeks passes, and the bad trader forgets about that top single and pushes it out of their mind because it didn't nuke instantly. Therefore, that's not a real top single. That's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do. Keep it in your mind. Don't short because of it, but you have to keep a log of all these things because it's not the first time you see something that you should panic and sell everything. It's not even the second or the third. There's an accumulation over time, and it's when you start to see multiple signs of over exuberance or euphoria or froth, and the market reacting complacently to them, right? So people just saying, this doesn't matter because this time is different. That's when you can see a proper top. I think that's the way this one's going to top, funny enough. Local top, not cycle top. But I think if there's a local top in the next few weeks on Bitcoin, and then eventually stuff goes down 20 or 30%, I think it's going to come because you're going to have all this dumb shit on Solana. You're going to have meme coins. You're going to have scams. You're going to have probably maybe even NFTs. Whatever you're going to see, right? You're going to see a bunch of stuff, and it's clearly like top signals. And then we're like, I'm expecting, this hasn't happened yet, but I'm expecting Bitcoin to push higher, right, after a bunch of these top signals. And then people online say, oh, these top signals are no longer top signals because Bitcoin ETF this time is different. Because the ETF is so big, we've crossed over, it's a new paradigm. The Bitcoin ETF flows are just going to keep us going up forever. We can have these scams in between. I would call bullshit on that. So, yeah, I mean, to me, it all looks fine. Bitcoin's still strong. Solana's stronger. And let's see how it goes. I do think Bitcoin takes the highs before it goes lower, if it goes lower at all. And I'm long. Bitcoin, Solana, altcoins. Certainly not looking to get short or anything here, or even to sell. Not to sell any spot. So that's it. GM. See you all later on the